Welcome back to Dev Talks Podcast. Today I'm sitting here with Brigg Pierson, and he is running for East or West?
East.
East Side councilman. Brigg, how you doing today?
Oh, not too bad. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, doing well. You were last minute getting into this race and everything. So what are some things that you think you're going to be good for our town? Like, what's some of your main issues with our town?
Right now with the council, it's a lot of the drama and animosity towards just kind of everyone
Mm-hmm.
in a circle.
It's crazy, that's for sure. I've been talking about this with several different people running for council, but it seems like for the past 7-8 months, every council meeting has been nothing but a farce and a clown show.
Yeah.
And people are tired of it. People are getting really fed up with it, as we've seen at the last two meetings. A lot of blame's getting put on the mayor, John, and at the town halls before. I mean, they really did. They led into him, but that kind of shows the climate of our town where it's at right
Yeah.
now. What's some glaring concerns that you think, besides drama? Where do you see say you're elected tomorrow?
Mhm.
Alderman Pierson. What's your first steps as councilman to start getting away from this drama, this clown show?
Hopefully discussing with everyone that while we all have disagreements, like no one's ever going to get every vote.
Mm-mm.
There's no reason for it to escalate to where it's been, where people are screaming and yelling. It seems to me like someone needs to step in, and I think it might be John, to calm some of that stuff down at the meetings. But I've lived in this town for right around 10 years now. I've always done something to support the community. I love the community. They've been great. And this is just a way for me to give back and make sure the town runs well and see to the needs of the citizens.
Okay. Yeah. It seems like nothing's been getting done in the meetings. I mean, you've got mayor who won't get along with council. You've got a council who won't get along with mayor. Some of the councilmen's gripes is that, one, they can't get anything put on the agenda. They reach out to John, it won't get put on the agenda. How would you go? Say you had that same problem. What would you do to get it put on the agenda? Would you talk to him? How would you go about it?
I mean, the best way to do it would be to just sit down and have a one-on-one conversation. Treat him with respect. Hopefully he treats you back with respect, and get whatever your point is across to him and say, hey, this is something that needs to be discussed and something that needs to be on the agenda.
And the council runs the city. I mean, that is the council's job. The mayor, he's there for certain things, but really who runs our city is the councilman.
Yeah.
So that is a very big responsibility for citizens. Where it becomes a problem, and as we've seen with the heatedness of our town, is that it seems like, and this is a lot of people's opinion, it seems like we have a mayor who does not want to relinquish control and is trying to do more than he should and try to control the council. Do you have any comments on that?
I really don't. I haven't been to a whole lot of meetings. It's, especially here recently, it's been winter. I am in more pain, so I don't get out unless I have to.
Yep.
Any dealings I've had with John have been positive.
As a civilian?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or with law enforcement, sitting down with him and talking.
Okay.
Because I see him when I go do court security and whatnot. So.
That's right, because you work for Mountain View, right?
Yes.
Before we go any farther, you want to kind of give them a little back view of you, an overview of who you are?
Sure. I moved to town 10 years ago to be a full-time law enforcement officer. I was there for about a year. At the time, things just didn't work out in mine or their favors with me working, so I moved on to different opportunities. Eventually, my heart just pulled me back to law enforcement. I ended up as a sheriff's deputy in Carter County, where 4.5 years ago, there was a tragic incident where I was unfortunately injured in the line of duty.
And yeah, Jesus. Well, thank you for your service.
I
And thank you
appreciate
for everything you do and have done for our community, for our town, for our country.
Yeah.
I mean, police, they work around the country,
Yeah.
might not be the best, but, for Missouri,
Yeah.
you've worked at several different precincts, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yes. Go ahead.
I am back to reserve as a reserve officer in Mountain View, so I do transports if needed and court security, and I'm also still in the fire department doing what I can to help there. So
Okay. Well, so
just giving back to my community because they showed support when I was hurt. So
yeah,
these days it's as much support as I can return.
Yeah, and it seems like you have a very community service heart. Like, you're all about community service. You work for several different agencies, like the fire department, like the police. So you have a very service mindset. Is that one of the reasons that you are running now? Is because you've been in the city, you've been in the public eye, as a policeman.
Yes.
Maybe as a policeman, you see things that councilmen or even regular civilians don't see that you could change from the inside. Is that a correct statement?
Yeah, that's a good statement. Like I said, I've been, helping this community for as long as I could.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely slowed down, but I still do what I can. And from that perspective, I do see things. I see, especially with the budget wise, I see what I believe to be odd choices. But again, I haven't seen the budget yet because I'm not an alderman. So there could be extenuating circumstances that I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's also, I've seen other things. I've seen meetings get out, or heard about meetings getting out of control, people voicing opinions and not being happy with what's going on in town right now.
Yeah. And that's politics. That's all. You're never going to make everyone happy.
No.
And that's the thing. Like, you do have to have some back and forth. I mean, you can't just. And this is someone wanted me to ask this, and I'm going to. I think you saw it posted on your campaign thing. There's been accusations of that you're running because John is kind of pushing you that way. Just clear that up.
Absolutely not. I don't know that I'd even voiced my, I won't say concern, voiced my option or been thinking about joining the city council, because I've been thinking about it for probably 1.5 years, 2 years.
Okay. So this is nothing new.
No.
You've been thinking about this. This isn't something that was spur of the moment.
No.
And that's why I ask, is because the best way to clear up the rumors is to hit them right on the head.
Yep.
And
I was a write-in. My first time into any kind of politics, I didn't really realize that there was a set cutoff for it. So I am a write-in candidate now, unfortunately for myself. But it is something I've been looking at with how limited I am and how much I do enjoy supporting the community. It was an option I was thinking about to step in and give more support.
And like you said, you're kind of running on no drama. What does that look like? Like, say, okay, let's just take the city administrator issue. That's the biggest topic of contention within the city right now. It seems, okay, say I don't know whether you're for or against, don't care. Let's just say you're one or the other, and then you've got 3 people or 2 people that are against what you're thinking. How do you go about that? How do you alleviate that? What do you say? Like, how are you going to come to some type of an agreement with them, or at least understand where they're coming from?
Obviously, there has to be communication, clear, concise, calm communication, not people trying to shove their ideals down the other's throat. And obviously looking at what the city administrator's duties would be, whether they fall in line with the state ordinances for city administrator, and if we have any appropriate or good candidates for said position.
And so that's where it started, is looking to see if we do have a qualified person. If so, kind of get together with those opposing the view and talk it out and see if you guys can come to some kind of middle ground.
Yes.
Gotcha. And I think that's the best way to do it. I think that's what's been lacking so long in city government, is just everything is very ego driven right now.
Yes.
And it's either you're with me, you're against me, and I'm going to fight you tooth and nail on either way.
It definitely seems like everyone's been my way or the highway. They
Agreed.
set this wall up and that's it.
Yeah.
You're on one side or the other.
Yep. And, the city has been put into a kind of weird predicament with some investigations and stuff going on within the city. And so that's uncharted territory for most councilmen or even just regular people.
Yeah.
So that does pose a problem as to, one, how our government operates, 2, how you can get along with people. I mean, it's whether true, false, in between, I don't care. It's I mean, that'd be hard to get along with someone or even see from their side of the view once this stuff's done on either side. So I mean, this is a catalyst to what has caused these problems. I think is they're mad at each other. Yeah. Everyone's mad at everyone, and nothing's getting done. We've seen it. I mean, have you been to a meeting recently? I haven't seen you at.
Not recently. I usually am at home either watching notes or
Mhm.
some.
Like watching it on live or
Yeah.
whatever. Okay, okay. But like, and that's the thing that I've been trying to. Okay, what if if you couldn't get put something on the agenda that you wanted to discuss, like you want to talk about it, you think
Mhm.
it's very important. I'm trying to think on what I'm trying to ask here. I guess I kind of already touched on that. Okay, let's go a different route here. Let's think. Um, okay, say how here's a big question that I've gotten is how would you incentivize businesses to start coming into our town as a councilman? What are some steps you would take? And they can be just the very beginning steps. It doesn't have to be in detail. And I ask every council person that comes on this is our town's dying.
Yes.
We have no infrastructure.
Mhm.
We have not very many businesses in our town anymore. There's nowhere for people to work.
Yeah.
You either have to work on the road or get a job in the sawmill, the logwoods, or if you're lucky, a mechanic.
Walmart is the other
Yes.
one. That's it. And we have a small Walmart.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Uh,
Fab closing definitely hurt.
mhm.
Obviously, to get businesses in, you've got to show some kind of you've got to give them a reason to want to join or come.
Yes.
And for our little town, that's kind of hard, especially with West Plains being right next door.
And Willow kicking her ass at every corner.
It seems like it, yes.
They are. I mean, shoot, once Love came in, they just blew up. And I mean, the things they are doing in this town is incredible. And
Yeah.
that was one thing that I was telling council members and stuff whenever we were talking is we need to start stealing ideas from Willow. It's not bad to steal,
Yeah.
not ideas,
Yeah.
because any money that leaves our town is going to another town.
Yes.
We are in competition whether we like it or not. We can be neighborly, we can like each other's towns, blah blah blah. But at the end of the day, it's still a competition to make your town getting the more tax money than the other town.
Yes.
And I think that has been put to the wayside for so long. So where does that start?
Honestly, that's, a difficult question without talking to others who have more experience than I do in that aspect. Unfortunately for us, Willow is in a better location with the intersection. Love's obviously picked a pristine location.
Yeah.
But that being said, 60 Highway 60 is a major throughway. We get all kinds of traffic. Cleaning up the town would be a big one. We've got a lot of dilapidated buildings that just are an eyesore. And I know that it's not something we can necessarily take control of, but that is a big issue, I think. Another one is just kind of, expanding, getting better ideas to bring people to the community. We have Pioneer Days, and that's a fantastic thing. But here lately, it seems like, every year it's been the exact same thing.
Yeah.
Maybe try to find something new to come in for that.
Yeah, there's been no innovation with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
that's, not city council, that's community betterment, I guess, but
I think chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the city council can bring forward like, hey, have you looked at this idea? Because at the end of the day, the city council's for a budget. They are in charge of the money, and the more money they can get, the better they can help town, the city.
Yes. And that is one of the glaring things. Okay. Talking about budget and talking about finances and everything, there's been a lot of speculation on if the books are balanced or if they're not. Is that something you are wanting to look into once, if elected? Is that something that you would want to find out?
Definitely. My background in law enforcement, I definitely want to know if things are being done properly. If all state statutes, all guidelines are being followed. I obviously don't have any idea what's going on.
You're still just a citizen.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
so-
Running for office, and I don't expect you to have the answer for it.
Yeah.
I want to touch on it. Another thing is, these are questions I ask every person coming on, but the council, our current council, has said that they hadn't seen a daily cash report since June, I think. Okay, basically, what a daily cash report, it's money in, money out, and you got to see that to know where you're at.
Yeah.
Which I've asked the current council members, well, how the hell did you vote on any spending without knowing what we have in the bank?
Yeah.
So that's a fault on them, but also not getting these daily cash reports that are mandated to be given for 8-9 months. That's a glaring concern. It raises eyebrows.
It definitely is, especially with the council's main goal and main job is to control that budget, to see, hey, this business wants to come in. Is it beneficial to let them come? Are they going to help the town, or are they just going to be here and take up space and not really do anything other than maybe push people away because of abrasiveness or anything like that? At the same time, take care of the concerns of the citizens. So definitely, if these reports aren't being handed over and you can't see the budget, then I agree. It's hard to make a budget when you don't necessarily have any idea what a budget is, or the budget is.
And say you ran into the same problem, is that something you would demand to get? Is the cash daily reports?
Oh, definitely.
I think they're getting them. I think the last meeting, I think they finally got one. But if that became a problem again, I'm sure that'd probably be something you demand to have to be able to vote on anything.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. And that was the question. As far as the condition of our town, what are some steps, just baby steps? I'm not talking down the road finished. I'm talking just the beginning, just planning. What are some steps you would take to start trying to get our town cleaned up, to start making our town look more presentable, as you said? Because a lot of those buildings are privately owned, right?
Yeah.
And government doesn't have much
pull
to be able to do anything. But in your head, what are some steps you could take to try to make that happen? Would you go talk to them? Would you incentivize that?
Definitely, communicate with find the owner first.
Yeah.
Communicate, hey, is there anything you're planning on doing with this building? One in particular, well, two in particular, is the one there on Elm Street. Used to have all the horse tack in it. Roof's gone. The other one is at the corner of, was it 4th and Pine or 5th and Pine, where it looks like someone's going to get hurt. There's no door, there's no ceiling, like the house is just ruined. Reach out to those people saying, hey, can you at least seal the doors up? Can you do this to help protect? I was young and dumb, that house would have been great to go in and explore and party. And
yeah, exactly. And then it falls down and boom, you have a liability right there. Yeah.
And another big one is the streets. Like, I don't know what's going on budget, obviously, but we have a lot of really rough streets.
We have shitty streets.
I live next to Belmont, and it may as well be gravel these days.
Yeah, and that's a lot. I tell you, that's a main issue. Whenever I go to those town halls or the council meetings and stuff, I would say about 45% of people are yelling about streets at every meeting.
It's
a big issue for them.
It is. It's damage to your cars in the long run. That's more money you have to put out of pocket if you blow a tire or it ruins your suspension or any part of your vehicle.
Well, I even had a citizen come up to me and he was talking about the streets, and he made a pretty good point, but I thought it was kind of funny. He said they want us to get our damn vehicles inspected to make sure that they're roadworthy, but they aren't going to make sure the roads are worthy enough for our damn vehicles.
That's a good,
and
that's funny.
Yeah, it's a hypocrisy on just government as a whole, not city government, but state government. But yeah, people are, it seems, and this is the feel in Mountain View right now, is that people feel like our government as a whole right now, whether it be council, mayor, so-and-so, it doesn't matter. They think our government as a whole are too busy focused on themselves and their egos, and they won't put anything aside to get anything better, heading in a better direction for our town right now.
Yeah. And I can say I agree with that. You look at the turnover we've had in the city council in the recent months, years. Obviously, something's going on. Obviously, people are getting their feelings hurt, or there's so much animosity that they throw it out and they're done with it. They don't want to have,
or their hands are tied where they can't do anything, and they're like, fuck it.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be one or two. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the thing is, I want to make this 100% clear. And I've done it on every podcast we've done with city council members or mayor or whatever he's coming on to. But, I like John as a person. Great guy. Have no problems with him. Do I think he's done some shit wrong in our city? Damn right. Do I think the council's done some wrong in our city? Damn right. So whenever I'm talking about issues and stuff, I'm not singling someone out because I see it on all sides, not just one. And right now, you got to make that very clear in the city. Otherwise, people just assume you're on a side or another. I've
Yeah.
ran into that a lot.
There was a comment on one of my Facebook posts about it. So,
Yeah, like I think it said, you're nothing more than a puppet for
my own
John.
gain.
Yeah, for your own game for John, and you deny that, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
I've only talked to John a handful of times. The only thing I've really talked about seriously with him was taking over for emergency management coordinator.
Okay.
Ours is obviously, aging and wanting out. And I agreed, that's something I could look into in the future. Right now I'm still dealing with work comp, and that's just a whole nother headache. So that kind of puts that on standstill. But again, that's another way for me to support my community. Going back to that, that's just what I want to do.
Yes. And oh shoot, man, I had a good question. Go ahead and finish your thought.
But I will say I had the same discussion with the individual who made that post and said the exact same thing to him. That's what it is. I can't say that I'm out for my own gains. Anything I do for the PD right now is volunteer strictly. I don't get paid for anything I do. The fire department, I'm stepping back from getting paid there, because I'm not doing much, just maybe a meeting here and there. So it's not my gains. The only gain I'm getting from any of this is my own mental health and fulfilling what I feel I need to do, which is support my community.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's very admirable. There's a lot of people, 90% of people, they're not going to do something unless they're paid for it. They're not going to do something just to help other people. That's not how people are in humans.
Yeah.
Me included sometimes, but, I think people who serve, who volunteer, who try to do things good to better our community, just even in the littlest bit, it's an important aspect of the personality, especially whenever you're looking at people running for office. What is the very first topic or issue that you are going to tackle if you are elected? Do you have a kind of a...
The biggest one is going to be trying to figure out where the city is, where it stands, where we are financially, and just try to figure out what's been going on between the mayor and council, or council member to council member. That is a huge issue, is to figure that out so that the town stops having so much mistrust or no faith in the city government.
And yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head. That's where it's at right now, is people don't have trust in the government at all. And, and my biggest thing that I've been hammering for these past few months is transparency. I think the biggest problem comes from the council and John not talking to people, not letting them know what's going on. We have closed meetings at every session. We're not supposed to have that many closed meetings.
Yeah.
We're just not. If there's something that needs to be covered that's under the statute that has to be in closed session, I get it. But never have we had closed sessions at every freaking meeting. And now we've gotten to that point, and when they come out, they're closed-lipped. They don't tell the public what's going on. And then what happens is you see these big conspiracies getting rolled up and started because lack of information breeds negative
mistrust.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
exactly. Transparency, is that something you're going to be... How do you feel about transparency?
I believe wholeheartedly in transparency. Even in law enforcement. Originally, investigative, sorry, we can't talk to you. But as soon as information is available, if someone has questions, boom, right there. Like, I have no problem telling people.
Yes.
And the Sunshine Law is a state statute where demands transparency at request.
Yes, it does. And, there are a lot of loopholes within the Sunshine. Obviously, it was written by attorneys for attorneys.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Anything like that, there's always going to be loopholes in. But, that's another thing. Like I think it was Thursday. Yeah, Thursday. I went and had an interview with our city attorney, and I talked to her about... I'm sure you saw the write-up in the paper about the attorney charges and everything. And so I just went to her. She's the source. So I went to her. I said, what's up with all this? And it's nothing new that they are charged for texting. I've got documents all the way back to 2011 now that show text messages showing being charged for the same amount.
Yeah.
Miss Nicholson, she doesn't charge the city any more money than they did back in 2011, 2010, $90 an hour. Most cities around here, I think, are at 150 an hour. And the whole piece that was done on it, it was definitely meant to sway one way or another and make it look bad. But the thing is, like, say you do have to text the city attorney for something, you're going to have that charge on you.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was all blown out of proportion whenever it comes to that. But it seems like an underminement of how the city does their job. I think that's the main thing I'm trying to hit with this, is that every little thing that happens, whether it be our council or our mayor, it is getting put under a scope, put under a negative light.
Yeah.
And being twisted in one way or another. And I'm not saying the paper twisted or nothing. I'm just saying people, and transparency, I think, would just fix a lot of that. What would be some ways that you would be transparent with your voters?
Obviously, answer questions as long as they fall under the state statute. It wasn't mandatory to be in closed session. A lot of the questions that may or may not have been, asked in these text messages, phone calls, possibly ask them in the meeting if it's something simple or something,
It's never simple when you have to text an attorney.
This is true. But if it's a minor question, not serious legal stuff.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, hey, can I do this? That's why wait till later?
Exactly. Yeah. No, I get what you're saying.
Do everything you can to get information in those meetings. I don't know. I know everyone can view it online, view it live. Better. Is there like anything written for it?
For the meetings?
Yes.
Yeah, there's minutes. Well, there should be minutes, but
which are those accessible, I'm assuming, by the public?
Yes, they are. Even closed session meetings after 72 hours, they have to be made public.
I knew that part.
Yeah. So everything you can go and request and get it. It's just if you know what to ask for.
Yeah.
The thing about with meetings and minutes right now is we haven't had a clerk at a meeting in 5-6 months. So Miss Nicholson, another thing that she does free for our town is she has been taking minutes in lieu of. So don't know if she's done it at every meeting because she does have a job to do on top of it. So I know maybe the minutes for the past few meetings have been off because we don't have someone doing the job that they're supposed to,
And that's something that if it's not happening needs to be addressed.
Exactly.
If you have a job, it needs to be done. I don't care. Like I said, it doesn't matter which side I'm on. I don't really pick sides. I just want things to be fixed right now.
Yes, me too.
And if I can help, I'm all for it. If I get in there and obviously people don't like it, people don't like what I'm doing, I know when I'm not wanted, and I will hand off the position. It's not my ego.
Yeah.
I want to help. I want to fix things. As you said, the transparency, another one, social media is big these days.
Huge. Yeah.
Put something on, the city Facebook page. Hey, this is what happened. If you want more details, go request the minutes at City Hall, speak to so-and-so,
that would just alleviate so much right there.
It would.
And I've been hammering that. It's like, they're like, well, we're doing what we're supposed to. I'm like, yes, but doing what you're supposed to and doing more are two different things. It seems like everyone wants to do the bare minimum.
Yeah. And that's not the way to do things. If you can step forward and put a little more effort to make people trust you, to make people understand what's going on, that's huge. Like, I'm sure you've seen, my biggest campaign has been social media. I've got a few signs out. I've got more, but right now I just don't know people. I've been stuck in my house dealing with my personal stuff. Haven't been able to get around the community. The people I do know have been more than happy to support me. But again, like, my biggest campaign right now is through social media.
And honestly, nowadays, that's all you need.
Yeah.
I mean, social media is where everything's at.
With the exception of grandma and grandpa, who probably are getting stuff secondhand through family at that point. But yeah, social media is the whole world right now.
Exactly. And like, doing this shows them that you're not scared to, to talk, to let your ideas be heard. On Facebook, every post we make has about 7,000 people that watch just on Facebook.
Mhm.
You know, different platforms have different amounts, but it equates or has in the past to about 100 some thousand.
Yeah.
So people being able to see you up here talking, telling your side, telling your concerns of what's going on with our city, it just breeds an air of transparency, and it makes them be like, okay, well, at least we know when asked the questions, he's not going to just turn his back and walk away.
Yeah.
And that's a big thing, especially for our government right now, because any of them, if you ask a question, if they don't like the question, they're turning their back and walking away from it.
Mhm.
And that's where a lot of people have become really pissed off.
Yeah.
Is that, I'm sorry, but you know, any elected official, you work for the taxpayers and
Mhm.
you work for the city.
Yeah.
You know, you don't work for each other and you don't work for your friend. And I don't know where it started. I just know that the best interest of the city has been put into a hole and covered up. We
Yeah.
don't, that's not at the forefront anymore.
Mhm.
And that's, you know, I went and talked to businesses in Mountain View. I've talked to every business owner.
Mhm.
I said, what do you think about our town? All of them, I'd say 99% of them had the same answer. If I wasn't already in this town, I would never bring my business here because of the infighting.
Yeah.
You know, because of the drama, like you said.
It seems like it's turned more into a, you know, my way. Like I said, my way, the highway.
Mhm.
They stand their ground, but it seems like it's been more politically based, more personally based than it's what it's meant to be.
Yeah.
You know, I've been reading up on the statutes of what you do, what you can do. It is 100% financial and benefiting the city.
Yes.
Anything else is
Secondary.
fooey, needs to go away.
Exactly. And I agree with you. And I like it. I like what I'm hearing, but and this is just me wondering because I don't know. But like how do we start that? How do we get people to realize like sometimes we're not going to like each other's opinions, but if it does further the city in a way, that's what we need to do. Like I don't care if I like your opinion, you don't like mine, but if you have something that it is going to put Mountain View in a better place,
Mm-hmm.
then obviously we should do it.
Yeah.
You know, I think it's a human fault to not be able to look at other people's point of view.
Yes.
Especially in these small towns. I mean,
yeah,
I hit on small town a lot, but it's true. You know, people.
Oh, small town politics are,
Yeah.
You know,
because most
of
it's
their own thing.
family name or old name, or I've even heard like you're not from here, or you know some weird stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like who cares as long as the best interest of Mountain View is at the heart. That's what we need to run off of.
Yeah.
What I guess. Okay, let's just take the city administrator position. Are you for or against the city administrator? Because that's a big glaring question with the community.
It is. And I've been trying to stay clear of that one because I wasn't in a position to really take a side on it.
Yeah. Don't know the financials or anything. I get that. From what you've seen at the meetings and everything, what is your opinion? Not a stance, just an opinion.
Opinion is kind of six one way, half a dozen another.
Yeah.
Again, it has to do with, do we have the right person to do it? And is that person going to do what they're supposed to in the scope of their power in that position? And with financials, again, I don't know, but I don't know if we have an appropriate person for it that's applied yet. I don't see that.
Yeah, you can't see that. Yep.
If it is something that's going to benefit the city, sure. You know, I'm not going to stand my ground on, no, I do not want this. This is not what I want. If it's the good for the city, it's the good for the city, whether I like it or not.
I think that's a damn good answer. I mean, honestly, that's like you said, you haven't seen the stuff inside, and you said you're open. You're fluid. You know, you can go one way or another depending on what you see, and
it's all about communication and someone presenting the information in a calm, concise manner. You know, don't start yelling. Don't just come in with that animosity, blah, blah, blah. Just here's what it is. Here's what I think. And let that be it.
Exactly.
Communication
is key. And there are several questions that I ask every council person that come on. One of them, and this is because it's the heated topic of Mountain View right now, and people want to know. Back in December, your opponent, Judy Coulter, was seated or was appointed to, I think, what is it, East?
Yes.
Okay, East. To the East Ward position. She got in there. She started, and this is from her interview, that she was asking about the financials and stuff. And the next meeting, she was not reseated. Like they had to redo the vote because her cousin voted for her or something.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically all they had to do was revote, get it on. Well, John had appointed her back in December.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it was the January meeting. He voted no on it. And as the tiebreaker vote, knocked it out. To me, as a citizen, it looks like someone trying to control the council because she didn't really do anything illegal. She didn't do anything wrong.
Mm.
She did ask questions.
Yeah.
But was not put on. And I'd say 65% of the people that were there the other night were wanting an answer on that. Like, why? Just what are your feels about the whole events that transpired?
Do I think it was done correctly? No. I feel like, while not necessarily a conflict of interest, having family on the board together kind of sways almost every vote.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we could say that, and let's just be devil's advocate.
Oh, yeah.
We could be, you work for the cops, Israel Guidry,
Yeah.
and his,
Bauer.
I'm sure, yeah, whatever, Eddie Bauer or something. David. Him and you probably work together in some capacity or know each other.
Yeah.
And that could be said also.
Yes,
you know what I mean? Just playing devil's advocate.
Yes. Definitely could.
And in Mountain View, the thing is, in Mountain View, everyone's related to everyone, and everyone is, you're never going to get away from conflict of interest within our town.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Again, yeah, it's not possible in every fashion. While I do know David, it's in passing. I know Izzy, not necessarily David. He's
gotcha.
Married to Izzy's stepdaughter, if I'm not mistaken. Good guy. But again, as I've said before, I'm fluid. If what he brings forward is crap,
it's crap.
Yeah, it's crap.
Exactly.
Like, there's no reason for anyone to do anything that's not good for the position you're in.
Yeah, and I like that. That's true. That's very true. As far as like businesses and stuff, I mean, a big glaring concern with business owners is that they only hear from the city whenever they have a handout wanting a sponsorship or to fund something. Is that something you would think about getting into, is being more proactive with the businesses, or at least having someone go down and see their opinions and their views, because ultimately they bring in your tax money?
Yeah. It's definitely beneficial to speak to your business owners, to get to know your business owners, find out their concerns before you bring stuff before the council. Hey, what do you think is going on? What is the biggest thing you think might help? And let me see if that's something that falls into my privy or, our finances.
Yeah.
And going back to, helping the city grow, one big one would be just, trying to get some of these businesses to advertise a little more. There's been businesses in town that even I don't know that are there.
Yeah. Oh, I know.
You drive by, you see a sign like, oh, hey, there's that.
Yeah.
When did that come and what
exactly,
is it?
Exactly. And it's bad because we're only a town of like, what, 2,400?
24, 25.
Yeah, exactly.
It's dropped 1,000 since I've lived here.
Yeah, it's a small town, and that is, I guess, my biggest concern with Mountain View right now. And I hit on this all the time, but I feel like Mountain View is dying. And if we do not do something to re-energize our town, then we are going to lose it. Like,
yeah.
I mean, our city's to the point where the state could come in and take over. I mean, we're having complaints with the Attorney General, the person who does audits.
Yeah.
You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, I don't know all the names, but all these people are involved in. We've had the insurance for the city come down, and they are involved because of all this stuff going on. Like Mountain View has been put in a very bad position by bad policy.
Yes.
And it's going to take more than a year, more than 2 years to get all this figured out. I think the majority of citizens understand this and know this.
Yeah.
But
at this point, it's not a small fix. It's almost a rebuild.
It is. And that's exactly what it's going to take, is a rebuild.
Yep. From the bottom up. And unfortunately, it's very unfortunate that it's come to that.
It is.
When I first moved here, still really all we had was Fab as a big business. But, when I came here, we had a really nice theater. I preferred it over West Plains or most of the others that are anywhere close. We had, I can't say more restaurants because they're pretty much all the same, but a lot of our restaurants even are morning to noon.
Yeah.
There's nothing to do in our town.
No, especially after 6 p.m.
Yeah.
I mean, we have nothing.
The youth center coming back was great. That gives kids something to do. Finding more things like that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But to do that, you've got to get the Mountain View name out there. You've got to, hey, we've got this.
Mm-hmm.
This could benefit you. Hey,
Yeah.
Working in Carter County, there's people from Van Buren that come over here to shop.
Mm-hmm.
But then they don't find what they need, so then they have to carry their business either down to West Plains or the next time they go to Poplar Bluff.
Yep.
If we could find ways to alleviate that, and again, it's going to be a building from the ground up, trying to bring in more business, and that's going to have to be something that's discussed, and lots of ideas are going to have to be thrown around on that one. It's not an easy fix.
It's not.
No,
it's not, and I don't think one single person could do it.
No.
So, but that's the thing with
it'll take the community, but to do that, you have to regain the trust of the community at a municipal government level.
Yes, and I think, like I said again, you're hitting the nail on the head with trust. It's just the town has no trust. The business owners have no trust. I mean, there is no confidence in our city right now that when push come to shove, if something was to happen, that it would do what's right for the citizens. And it's sad that it's gotten to this point. And I hope the elections and the new administration or whoever gets elected, I hope that kind of is a step in the right direction to alleviating this. What do you think about opponent wise? Do you think most of the opponents could you work with on the council? Do you think everyone's at least got their heart in it, or what do you think? Do you think are you optimistic or are you not?
From rumors I've heard, I'm really not.
There's a lot of rumors.
Yeah. A lot of rumors make it to where it's hard to be optimistic.
Yeah.
But again, until you're in that seat, it's really hard to make a concise decision on the trust. I know, well, I don't know that I know any of them personally. I know Lyndall through his kids. But right now, it's a bunch of people that I really don't know.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say whether or not I could trust them to do right by the city. So far, they're not proving it at the moment.
And that's a big unknown. Is like, just, you're running, but there's also this amount of people running that you have no idea whom. You don't know what their opinion is or what their belief system is or what even their viewpoint is of the town.
Yeah.
And that's something I'm sure will come to a head at one of the very first meetings, and it's going to get ironed out one way or another on I guess everyone's opinion of where our town lays right now.
Yeah.
What do you think about our city employees and stuff? Like have you heard about all the raise drama and stuff like that?
I've heard bits and pieces of it where certain departments are wanting these raises or demanding these raises. And again, I don't know the budget. It's not privy to us.
Yes.
But you kind of have to look ones within the city. What can we afford? But you have to look at your surrounding communities. If we're significantly lower than other communities, what's going to keep that person from leaving?
Exactly.
So if, even if you meet in the middle, they want this much, well, we can do this right now and we will see if we can get farther later on. You've got to do something to show them you need them to stay. You want them to stay.
Yeah, you got to show them love.
Yeah.
If not, we'll lose them. And that's what, it's just, the community's concern about the raises is, and this is kind of rumored, but John's also stood up there and said it, that 3 people were in charge of the raises, and in past years, it was always voted on by a council. So therefore that does kind of take power away from the council, even on something like that. And that's where a lot of this drama and everything got started, is that was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back, that and the city administrator position.
And from what I can tell from any research I've done, raises should definitely fall on the city council. That is part of the budget. That, from everything I've read, that is what they are designed to handle.
Yes.
Is, can we afford it, and is it beneficial to our community?
I agree. Do you know anything about grants? Like, is that something you're going to look into? Or let me rephrase this question first to answer that one later. Once you're elected, you will have the option of attending Sunshine Law classes, MEC classes, which is Missouri Ethic Commission. And basically they teach you how to be an alderman.
Yeah.
Is that something you will do?
Oh, definitely.
Do it? Okay.
Yes. Again, my first time into any kind of politics or anything above boots on the ground, patrolling the streets. It's training that I definitely need. And if it can help me do a better job, I am all for it.
Okay, well, good.
It's a great thing. And I think whether you're a longtime alderman or new, if you've not been to the training, I believe you should go to it. Just get a new perspective, open your eyes. This is how we've been doing it, but they say this is how it should be done.
Well, I mean, it just makes you know your position.
Yeah.
It makes you know what you can and can't do, because I think that's the biggest problem in our town right now is the council don't know their power, and the mayor don't know the council's power, and they both don't know really what either can do.
Yeah.
And I think that the ignorance is the biggest problem.
And training should come just like with any job. I mean, law enforcement, I spent 9 months in the academy.
Yep.
The fire department, it was part-time, very part-time, but another 9 months learning fire stuff, fire 1 and 2. Training is mandatory for just about anything.
Yeah.
I mean, even if you're a new business owner, having something would be fantastic. Like this is how I need to do my finances. Training is everything.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree 100%, because if you don't train, you don't know, you know, and it says train like you play, you need to train how you
don't know you don't know what you're supposed to be doing until you've met someone who has done it and knows the ins and outs and has been designated as an instructor.
And that helps. And I'm sure there are people within our community that are willing to reach out who have done the position before, or at least give guidance where they can, you know what I mean? And I think that's whenever it comes to community effort, that's where it starts, is like, there's a lot of opinions in our city. A lot of them are bullshit. A lot of them are valid. But at the end of the day, if we all come together and work as a city, like, we could possibly, I'm not going to say we could, but maybe save our town, because I'm not optimistic about the position of our town. I'm not optimistic of it getting any better, just because of the hole that we're in right now. And I hope everyone proves me wrong. And I hope we start moving out of this hole.
Yeah.
Well, is there anything else you want to say to the fine folks in Mountain View before we wrap up?
I know you touched on grants.
Yeah, yes.
Grants are huge. I don't have a ton of experience personally with them, but I do have resources that have dealt with them, that know grants very well and could help me find the ones that we need and help me, learn how to write the grant report saying, hey, this is why we need it. This is why we deserve it. That kind of thing. But grants are huge. When I worked Carter County, the only reason I got paid what I got paid was a state grant.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
If they didn't have the state grant, I'd have been paid probably minimum wage. But there's a grant through the state that you can apply for, any county sheriff's office, that basically puts you at $30,000 a year.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
And that's kind of the state minimum, as long as you've got a sheriff or someone who can and wants to put the effort into getting that.
Exactly, because that's where it all comes down to, is putting the effort in to get the stuff that's available. Because any public body, they have a lot of resources at their disposal. It's just if you reach out and take them,
you have to use them. And a lot of it comes down to time. That's something I have a lot of.
Yeah.
I'm still unable to work, looking at possibly medical retirement at some time in the future. So time is something I have. Time, and that's where my mental health comes in, and why I want to support and why I want to get out and do things, because that helps me. It gives me a reason to get out.
Get you a sense of purpose.
Yes.
Yeah. And that's what we need, is people that want to. Yeah, the thing is, as a council, you're a human. Okay, anyone that's running is a human being. Humans are bound by human error. I mean, we're all going to fail. We're all going to do things wrong. I mean, that's just plain and simple. I've done a million things wrong in my life.
Oh, 100%.
And I think what makes the rubber meet the road is if you're able to see when you do something wrong and just say, yeah, I fucked up.
Yeah.
Let's build on this. Let's move on from this. I've learned.
Don't hold it over my head forever.
Exactly.
I dropped the ball.
Yep.
That was totally wrong. That's on me. I want to fix it. What can we do to help and alleviate that?
Exactly. And what's happened is every mistake that's been made within our government, they just keep doubling down on. They double down, and they're not looking at it as a stepping stone or a building block. It's very much so.
You did this, and every time we come around to it, this is what you did.
Yeah, and it's
We
pointing
can't move
fingers.
forward because this is what you did.
Exactly. That's exactly right. And I just think, that we need people in there that's going to work together.
Yeah, it's forgive and forget.
Yep.
It's a basic classic saying.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of those things. It's something everyone should live by. There's no
Exactly.
reason to hold things over people's head.
Exactly. I agree.
Like I said, you're talking about messing up. That was one place I messed up. Friend did me wrong long ago. I kept holding it over his head, and we are no longer friends. And he was like a brother to me back in the day. So, I've learned.
Yeah.
That's one I learned from.
Hard situations breed a harder person, and it makes you learn from it. And iron sharpened by iron. So you've got to go through the fires. You got to go through the trials, so to speak. And I think that's what makes people better is failing. You've got to fuck up to be better.
Yeah.
If you don't fuck up, if you never fuck up, I don't trust you.
Right. Yeah. If you tell me you've never messed up, then I'm probably going to call you a liar to your face.
Exactly. And
I try to be polite, but on that one,
yeah,
you full of shit.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's the thing. It's like admit your mistakes. That's all it takes, and
grow from them.
Yes, and I hope in the future for our city that happens.
Yes.
And I hope that's the direction we are heading right now.
It definitely needs to be.
It does. I agree. Is there anything else you want to touch on before we wrap up here?
I think you've covered a lot of the points that I needed to push across, and a lot of the points that the city's pushing towards us candidates who are trying to run and want this position to help the city.
Mm-hmm. So just as a summary here, you're not in John's pocket.
No.
He has not tried to get you to run.
No.
Okay. Is there any more rumors that you know of that we need to cover? I'm trying to think. I don't know of any.
Rumors, no. Your devil's advocate. Yeah. Yes, I know David.
Yeah, but
it's not
in a personal capacity.
Yeah, it's not going to sway anything one way or the other. I'm a member of BACA, so is he. We're both new members. Still,
what's BACA?
Bikers Against Child Abuse.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But still, it's a lot of in passing. We have a meeting once a month, but other than that, it's can you attend this can you attend this event, this function? He's not someone that I go drink with or spend a lot of time with.
Yeah. Boy, I tell you what, that was a good thing getting one out of the community the other night. Whenever Bikers Against,
God, don't. That's a whole. It goes. If you want to talk about that, I'll come back,
dude. I know. Yeah, it just goes.
That's a headache.
Oh, dude, it goes to show you.
I was there.
Were you?
Yeah.
And that's why I've told people, you can't blame the fire department because you never know what's going on in someone's personal life.
If you watch the video, you can see my cane come into the shadow and me talk to Stetson about the guy moving his truck.
Oh my gosh.
It was a nightmare.
I can imagine. And that's the thing with our town right now. And that's why people are so heated, I think, is it's been one thing after another.
Yes.
And people are just very on edge about everything right now.
Oh, trust me, I understand. Winter's a bad time for me anyway. So, I'm trying to get through some of my personal issues that I've got going. I was doing great. I was getting out again, and then
this hits.
I'm like, break your mic.
No, you're okay.
Just smack to the face. That hit me personally because that's my department.
Yeah.
I'm an officer in that department.
And you guys done, trying to help him out. And, but that just goes to show you never know what's going on in someone's personal, and it's not and that's why I try to tell people is it's not your fault. It's not the police fault. No one knew. No one could know.
The kid's been at everything.
Exactly.
I say kid, he's an adult,
but he's been through the school system,
football. He's at every football game, trying to help, trying to do this or that.
And so, it gave, you
never know.
Everyone thought it gave him a sense of purpose, but I'm glad he got caught. And there's been people that try to defend it on here, and I just shut it down. I'm like, no, you're not defending that.
No.
There's no defense for it.
That's child abuse. There is no defense for it. And it's wrong. It's wrong. It will always be wrong.
And by the video, you could very well tell you that he knew he fucked up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And he knew what he was doing. Disabilities are one thing, but
it's a physical disability.
Exactly.
To the best of my knowledge, he does not have any mental disability, and I'm pretty sure he said that in the video.
Yeah, he did. And it's just, man, it's sad that our town has all this stuff happening at one time because that's where the temperament of our town comes from, I think.
Yes.
Is just all this shit piling up on each other.
And like you said, it seems like it's just one thing after another.
Exactly. It is. Well, Brigg, right?
Yes.
Brigg, I appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, no problem.
any last message to the people before?
Look, I'm here to help alleviate this drama. I am a write-in, so if you want to vote for me, my name is Brigg Pierson. My signs are out, but it's BRIGGPIERSON.
All right. Well, thank you for coming on. I appreciate you doing this, and I'm sure everyone that watches it will appreciate it also. It's been a good talk, and I think we got to the bottom of some of the stuff you're running on, and I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye-bye, everyone.